Okay, this is part 2 about the IFUGAO people and culture. We are to the section on subsistence, which is the main reason why we are studying this culture this semester. So their subsistence, their main form of subsistence is rice cultivation using extensive terracing with complex irrigation. And we can see an example of the terraces here in this image. So the IFUGAO use a strategy called terracing, which allows them to farm the steep hillsides of their homeland. The IFUGAO people irrigate their fields with canals from rivers, streams, springs, and ponds. They build and maintain these canals, which bring water down through the terraces from springs and other water sources. This system allows them to use the same plots year after year. And we have learned in our subsistence lesson that that is one main difference between agriculture and horticulture. As we can see, the people have invested a lot in these terraces and in the canals and irrigation. They are not likely to abandon these plots. They're set up for permanent settlement. So, as I mentioned earlier, much of the IFUGAO subsistence comes from the rice terraces, also called wet fields. The IFUGAO also use horticulture for other crops, including sweet potatoes and corn, which are grown in swidden fields. We have mentioned this in the subsistence lesson, but swidden is a type of horticulture that involves burning native vegetation and planting crops in the ashes. The IFUGAO also raise water buffalo, also called carabao, chickens, and pigs. Remember, raising animals is pastoralism, so we're seeing lots of different types of subsistence here. I've been stating that their main form is agriculture, but they use others as well, including the horticulture and pastoralism that I mentioned here. Moving on to the kinship. The IFUGAO recognize descent bilaterally through both the mother's and father's sides of the family. IFUGAO recognize relationships on both sides and must marry outside of these related groups. Marrying outside of a group is called exogamy. Marriage to first cousins is prohibited, and marriage to more distant cousins is allowed if a penalty is paid. Marriage and family. IFUGAO marriage is usually monogamous, but wealthy men may have more than one wife, and wealthy families may arrange marriages. Divorce may occur through mutual consent or the payment of damages if the split is contested. And finally, this is our last slide in this segment. Inheritance comes from both sides of a child's family to children of either sex, although the firstborn child may receive a larger share of inheritance.